What's going on, everybody out there? Hope you're doing well. So I've got another unboxing here for you guys. So first, it's not really a first impression. I have been carrying this guy and flicking it around, playing with it for quite a while. You've probably already seen pictures and everything of it. I'm trying to see if it has it in here. So there's your information, your model number and everything. So this is the Kubey Tityus, I guess is how it's said. I think everybody pronounces it the same way. But this is the blue tie. So inside the box, you do have a little, I guess, registration card. Just kind of gives you their, not really registration, gives you their socials and all that good stuff. You do have a decent sized microfiber in here as well. Of course, with the Kubey branding. And then inside of there, or underneath there, you have the knife with a little bit of foam underneath. Inside the knife is sealed up in a plastic bag. Of course, it's already been cut. But really wanted to show this guy off. This is one that's I've been looking for quite a while. I actually looked on the secondary market a little bit. Couldn't really find one. I was looking for either the blue or the purple. And they have a standard version that has just some standard micro milling, and then they just recently came out with this version that has their the wave milling is what they call it. And it was available, so I jumped on it. Went ahead and grabbed one. We'll zoom in here and take a look at it nice and close. There we go. So again, you've got that really awesome wave pattern milled into the titanium on this. You do have anodized titanium hardware all the way around. Coming around on the back here is your flipper tab. It is a good height above the pivot, so it gives you plenty of leverage. Now you do have just standard barrel spacers in there. Let's see. For some reason it's not wanting to focus on that. So you do have just your standard barrel spacers in there. They're not titanium that I can tell. They're not anodized in any way. On the back side here, again, your titanium hardware, titanium pocket clip, anodized blue. And again, the same hardware inside. Centering is, if anything, it looks like it may be favoring the show side just a hair. That may just be from use. Let's see if the pivot's loosened up a little bit on me. Like I said, I have been playing with this for quite a bit. Yeah, the pivot did loosen up a little bit on me there. So just with a quick tightening of the pivot. So I'll need to Loctite that pivot. So that's something that we can talk about. Companies seem to be one extreme or the other. Either they don't use Loctite at all, or they use way too much. In this case, there isn't any Loctite on the screw. And like I said, I have been fidgeting with this quite a bit. I've carried it a couple of days as a primary. It's been a secondary a bunch just because I wanted to do a legitimate overview of this thing and really give you my experience with it, because it is a fairly popular knife, and a lot of people want to know, is it is the hype real? So we'll go over that. But again, there your centering on that there. Again, action, as you guys have seen, the action's stellar on this guy. Let's see if I can go. So your lockup is pretty good. You've got about, it looks like it's about 50% there. Maybe 40 to 50% lockup, which is not too shabby on a frame lock. Not pressing on the frame here. Make sure it doesn't have any give. So no issues there, at least that I can see. Again, I apologize for my voice. I've been battling a head cold the last couple of days, and then yesterday did a lot of talking yesterday, so it didn't really help matters that much. But we'll talk about the action on this thing. Action is phenomenal. The flipper action is great just because, like I said, you've got that really high flipper with plenty of jimping. I mean, it's got really great jimping on there. Just great there. Thumb action is good if you can get to it. My thumb's a little awkward, so it's hard for me to get in there, but once I can get in there, you can see it flicks out without an issue. For me, the reverse flick is amazing on this thing. I mean, absolutely awesome. Even index finger, middle finger, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you're at. If you want to come down in the hole and get it, and a little less of a snappy, or if you're right there at the hole at the top, detent's a little stiffer. So you've got that a little bit difference there. I really do like the pivot, with the Kubey logo there and being anodized blue as well. Pocket clip leaves a little to be desired, honestly. It's not the stiffest pocket clip. I could probably stiffen it up a little bit, but in and out of the pocket seems to be just fine. You do have a steel lock bar insert, and it is hidden, so you can't see it at all, which looks really nice. And then, of course, you got that titanium hardware on that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the blade here. So, Kubey logo on the blade, nothing too terrible there. You do have a nice little fuller that runs down outside of the blade hole. This side, no branding. You just have the 14C28N on there. No swedge or anything. Decent sized blade stock as well. Pretty robust tip. So it's not super pokey, but it is plenty robust for daily duty. You do have a great belly on this blade. So for doing your, utility cuts and things like that, you've got plenty of belly. You don't have to get all the way down to that tip. You do have plenty of belly to where you can get into there. Knife came sharp enough out of the box. I finally re-upped my computer paper stash, but when I did, I bought the cheapest stuff I could find, and it is like newspaper thin. So, really good for testing knives, though. As you can see, even after it slices it, it can tear right through it, but it is super, super thin paper. But this is slicing through it pretty well. Of course, it catches on some spots, but like I said, it's like tissue paper thin. But anyway, knife is more than sharp enough to do any sort of job that I've needed so far from it. It's a thicker knife, which it's odd. So it's when you first get it in your hand, it doesn't quite hit right from the go, just because it is so tall and so thin. So that's kind of where I want to say it takes a little bit getting used to, honestly. But once you get used to how it feels, because it's not uncomfortable, it just doesn't feel like many other knives. Most knives are, I've got the accent right here. Most knives are a little more thin, a little, shorter, and then about that same thickness. So it just takes a little, because you're used to that form factor with most knives. Even a big knife, going into, the same realm, even a big knife like this one here, where you're just a little bit thicker, it's still a somewhat of a short handle, top to bottom. So it feels different in the hand. With this guy being so tall, it it doesn't feel right at the beginning. But once you get, like I said, once you get over that fact of it being such a tall blade, it really, really melts in the hand. I don't even feel the pocket clip. You can choke up on this guy, get in that finger choil. You got really good jimping and a good thumb ramp here on the backside. Kubey really killed it with this design. And with the execution of it, I'm quite impressed with it. It is non-reversible for your pocket clip. Excuse me. Again, it just, the way everything is set up, the detent set just right to where you drop it, that flipper hits your thumb, and you just let it go. I mean, it's kind of hard to beat that kind of action. The titanium gives you plenty of grip with this pattern milled into it. It's a little less grippy here in the middle, where the waves are a little wider. Then as the top and the bottom, they have more interchangings there, more peaks and things in that area, so where it gives you a little more grip, almost like a diamond texture. And yeah, the thumb stud, the thumb action for me is difficult, but I rarely use a blade hole for thumb opening anyway. So in this case, you've got your flipper and your reverse that work really well. Specs on this guy, I can't remember what they are off the top of my head, so we will actually do a little bit of measuring. What the hell is measuring? We'll do a little measuring here. So we're looking at about a 3.5 inch blade, give or take, and right at a 3.5 inch cutting edge as well, and just a hair over 8 inches overall length. So that's going to put your just right at 4 3/4 on your handle. So decent sized blade. Nothing extremely large there. And then our weight on this is 4.8 ounces. So not a super light knife, not a super heavy knife. Again, being all titanium, there isn't really, there is a pretty good amount of milling in there, actually. I'm kind of surprised on that. So you got a pretty decent amount of milling. Let's check on this side too. So you've got some on the back side here. Of course, nothing on the lock bar. So you do have a pretty good amount of milling. Again, that is a fairly decent chunk of 14C, being right at 3.5 inches cutting edge. Your sharpening choil could leave a little to be desired. So if you look here, because that's more of a finger choil, so they don't, you've got a lot of meat behind the edge right there. So, you're probably looking at maybe 1, maybe 2 sharpenings before you really start creating a smile there. But the great news is, it's 14C, so it's fairly easy to bring back to life, so you shouldn't have to sharpen it a whole lot as long as you take care of it and maintain that edge. And the greatest part about the knife is the price. You can often find these things on sale for $100. I think I paid a little less than that for this one. I think it was on like an even bigger sale than normal, so it was less than $100. Normal price on these things is like $120 or something like that, when you can find them. And I guess that's the biggest problem, is actually finding these things in stock. But I ordered straight from the Kubey website, and didn't have any issues there. Didn't take forever to get it shipped. Shipped out pretty quick. And they actually they had this one, they had the purple, they had the yellow, they had all kinds of different colors of them. Again, pardon me. So I didn't really have any real complaints on the process with ordering direct from their website. Like I said, the price was right, so I didn't miss going through another company or one of their distributors. So, of course, links for everything will be down below. Check them out if you guys want to help support the channel. There's always going to be links in the descriptions below for that. Of course, the links for this and everything will be down there as well. And then some of the fine folks that I call my friends, all their links will be in the description too. So please like, comment, subscribe. I'm not going to drain this on any further. As always, be kind, be humble, be EDC. We'll catch you next time.